I hope I don't forget to cut that. That would be very embarrassing if I did not cut that before the video began. Hallelujah, the scooters are dead. Stick a knife in them, whatever the phrase is, they are not coming back. At least I am almost positive that scooters will not be coming back. And good riddance, because nobody wanted these things in the first place. But hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to our channel. If this is the first time here and you haven't subscribed, hey, consider doing so because, we are very good about editing out all of our bloopers and no embarrassing things will show up before the news stories. Anyway, this is a site you take seriously. But anyway, that aside, I've talked about these scooters occasionally. It's kind of like a minor topic on this channel, but the thing is, I think these things are stupid. There have been so many problems with these scooters. Nobody really wants them. They just clutter up the streets. People leave them wherever they want. And then, of course, they pay people pennies on the dollars to spend valuable time to go pick them up and charge them. When the reality is, like, you make far less than minimum wage doing so. It's just another way for Uber, Lyft, and all these companies to make money off the little guy without having to do real work. But scooters were profitable. I mean, you didn't have to pay a driver. The maintenance cost is very low. And so for a while, these companies were banking on scooters being the future. However, the scooters are being pulled. People who work on them are unfortunately losing their jobs. And I'm going to explain at the end why I don't believe they're coming back anytime soon. So anyway, you first look at the S News network. I think this was statewide. It's Statesman. And we find that Lyft is pulling its scooters from Austin amid the pandemic. So Lyft scooters are no longer available in Austin, the ride rental company announced on its website. The change, which became effective Wednesday, in part of the company's response to the C virus pandemic. Lyft's automobile ride-hailing and bike services will continue. Well, they say bike services. The company said, however, the company's bikes are not included in the city's list of devices that are licensed to operate in Austin. Quote, we're grateful to our scooter riders in Austin as well as our partners in Austin city governments, a Lyft spokesperson said in an email. We're shifting resources and have made some tough decisions to end scooter operations today, April 29th. We continue to support riders' essential driver needs during this time with other modes of reliable transportation, right, like a Lyft vehicle in which, guess what, you have a very good chance of catching the C virus. So, and this also comes as Lyft is laying off 982 employees and furloughing 288 others will be furloughed. And I bet you most, if not all, of these jobs will be related to the scooters. But here's the thing. Lyft is not the only one. Lime, and if this article loads, we can actually... Oh, of course. There we go. Lime is also laying off 13% of its employees, which is about 80 people. And what The Verge says is Lime has laid off 13% of its workforce due to the financial difficulties presented by the C virus pandemic, the scooter startup announced today, which was really yesterday by the time you watch this. The layoff affects about 80 employees across all teams in all regions around the globe, CEO Brad Bow said in an email sent to employees. Quote, almost overnight, our company went from being on the eve of accomplishing an unprecedented milestone. Don't kid yourself, Bow. Don't kid yourself. The first next-generation micromobility company to reach profitability. Again, don't kid yourself. To one where we had to pause operations in 99% of our markets worldwide to support cities' efforts on social distancing. Needless to say, while we thought we had planned for all possibilities this year, we did not anticipate a global pandemic. Well, they also didn't prepare for people who didn't want their damn scooters, but, they've been ignoring that one all this time. Previously, I said that while layoffs were a possibility, we have been delaying that decision for as long as possible to ensure that no stone was left unturned. I can assure you that we turned over many, many stones before today, from reducing all non-essential spend, real estate, software, and travel costs to raising additional capital. We have made the very difficult decision to reduce our workforce today. The world changed overnight, impacting the lives of our employees, riders, and the very communities we love and serve. We are taking these necessary steps to ensure long-term resilience of the business so that we remain a safe and reliable transportation option for cities around the world as we come out of this crisis. So, anyway, both Lyft and Lime are, firing staff. Lyft is completely pulling their scooters. Lime will probably follow suit, and also Uber will probably be the last, but they will also have to make cuts to their scooter division, and they will probably have to pick up their scooters as well, mainly because these are not considered essential by any means. Now, here's the thing. This is really bad because these scooters were definitely struggling all this time. Yeah, you see them around, but not super popular. In fact, most cities have kind of deemed them to be a public nuisance. The people who do use the scooters tend to be a little younger, tend to be a little less concerned about what they do with a scooter. So they'll pick up a scooter, they'll ride it somewhere, and then they'll just leave it on the ground. Sometimes just you have to literally step over on the sidewalk. These things were becoming a public nuisance. And so a lot of cities were not granting them permits, or they were revoking permits, I should say. And here's the thing. When we go back to start reopening things, there's still going to be a lot of social distancing over the next year. Even though I fully intend to go to movie theaters when they reopen, guess what? There's going to be a lot of people spaced out, and I'm going to have to sit in some less than ideal seats to see certain movies because that's just the way it has to be for a little while. Well, who wants to actually get on a scooter that is being touched by who knows who throughout the day? There's no way to properly and safely disinfect these things on the company's end, and people aren't going to want to ride them. And here's the thing. These things are going to probably be out of commission for at least a year, maybe even a year and a half, depending on how fast we can get the vaccination out, which, by the way, Dr. Fauci says the vaccination is probably coming out around January. So, look, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're now less than a year away from ending this madness, hopefully. But that's a long time for these things to not be on the sidewalks. And even if they do make a return, you know what it's just going to remind people? It's going to remind people, oh yeah, these things suck. They just get all over the place and they get in the way. Like, they're not going to want these things back. So I hereby proclaim the electric scooter craze, such as it was, because no one really liked it, is hereby over. They're not going to be continuing. It won't be picking back up again. It's done. It's done. All these companies better invest in food delivery, which by the time they finally get that started, guess what? The food delivery craze will also be over. But whatever. So anyway, I do like to know, though, what do all of you think? Do you think this is the end of the electric scooter business, or do you think, nah, it's still got some life in there, just wait? And hey, explain why you think that's the case. I'm very curious to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one.